don't know about you, but I've had a really, really long year, and this is probably the first week that I've started to actually think about Christmas. Call me a Grinch or whatever, but I'm just not excited about it this year. And yeah, I think there are some years where you can really get into the joy and the crafting and plan things in advance. This year is not one of those years. If you're like me and you're struggling to sort of build up the momentum, the motivation to gift for others this year, I've put together a small list of things that I think would be good gifts that I think will fill your own cup whilst you're crafting them, or that are, you know, not physical, like they're not things that you have to make out of your own hands and time and energy and money. You'll have to forgive me, this is a new camera and I don't know how it works at all. So all of these settings are just things that I took off of YouTube that they told me to do. So we'll see how it goes. Hi. In my family, we've actually decided not to do any presents for anyone over the age of 8. These are some things that I think that I would gift if we were doing presents. I find that a lot of traditional knitted or crafted presents that people make are like quite boring to make. If I'm thinking of all of the mittens and the hats and, you know, the Sophie scarves, all of those things. If you're one of those people that likes to knit mindless things exclusively, then this doesn't apply to you. But yeah, I just find that those traditional gifts can be a bit, they're not a joy to make. They're something that you make to sort of have the ability to gift. I've tried to focus on things that I think will be joyful in the making and also in the giving, or things that you can give after the fact, or just really, you know, value your own experience and craft. My Christmas video last year was actually the thing that I think made most of you meet me, because it did very unexpectedly very, very well. So I do actually stand by a lot of the things that I said in the last video, so if you haven't seen it, do go watch that. This is my tired crafter version of that gift guide. Okay, my first gift idea is such a classic, but I really think that gifting people books is just a lovely thing to do, especially if you're a big reader or you have a big collection yourself. I tend to exclusively sort of thrift books, and often what happens is that I find different editions of books that I really love, and so I'll buy multiples, especially when you're thrifting and like books are like €1 or £1. It's very non-prohibitive to sort of try and pick up the sort of best edition of the book that you can find. But yeah, it does mean that I have multiples, and what I like to do is gift those multiples to friends and family, or to people that I think will enjoy that book, or just, you know, I like to impose my taste on everybody else. And I also think that, you know, even if you're buying a book new, it's a really good price point, where you're not, you know, it's not a horrendous financial investment, but it can be so thoughtful if you're, you know, really thinking about the person and what they're going through at the moment, what you think will, anyway, books. You don't need me to convince you on books, but as a crafter, I think a really good accompaniment with that is like a little knitted or crocheted bookmark. There are some very cute ones on Pinterest. It's a very small format, so it's, you know, pretty easily and quickly done. If you're not a knitter, I think you can sort of quilt these. You can do like little mini, maybe hand-sewn quilting, or I really like these sort of cross-stitch sort of embroidery ones. I think you can get very creative with the pattern. Again, there's a ton of inspiration on Pinterest. But yeah, I think this is just a cute way to sort of add your crafty personal touch to a very classic and easy gift, especially if you're just sort of picking a book out of your bookshelf at home. It doesn't get easier than that. I'm also sort of moving forward trying to stay away from gifts that are physical things and moving towards things that are experiences, or that have you spending time with the person that you're gifting to, because like capitalism. And I also think as a crafter, we have a very unique skill that, you know, maybe once upon a time would have been valued as like a fishwife making fisherman's wool jumpers and things like that. So I really like the idea of sort of gifting a commitment to craft, or like a commitment like to provide a service for somebody that you know how to do. If you're a knitter, that could be something like offering to sort of fix a old wool jumper that has holes in it, or you know, that needs shortening, or needs some kind of sort of modification to it that you would know and have the skills to know how to do. Especially if, I don't know, you and your friends are like on a like eco-sustainable fashion kick. I think that's a very lovely thing to be able to gift somebody. And you know, if you paid somebody for those services, they're actually relatively expensive, so it's actually it's like a free way of gifting something that's quite valuable. There's really beautiful visible mending online that I just think is such a beautiful thing to own. I really love fashion and sort of clothing items that have a story and feel, you know, very, very lived in, and I think visible mending is just such a beautiful way to add story to a piece that, you know, you wear every day. So I'm thinking like sashiko on old jeans, like ripped jeans with holes in them, jeans that are sort of coming apart at the crotch or whatever. You could offer to visibly repair or invisibly repair a pair of somebody's jeans that they wear all the time. You don't have to do the very intricate moth hole repairs if you're not a knitter, and you know those videos where they like pick up the stitches and they make it look invisible and it's beautiful. You don't have to do that. It can just be, you can get those little like hook things, there's a name for them that I've forgotten, but that allow you to sort of weave across a hole. You could also gift one of those. I think that's a very lovely gift, and I think it's nice for a crafter. But if you're gifting to somebody that doesn't do crafts, that kind of repair is a very beautiful way to provide value and provide your skills without putting in a lot of effort up front. And you know, if there is sort of a very special knit that you want to do but you've run out of time, or you know that a friend of yours has been after a knit of yours for a while, I think, you know, it's a classic, but I think just gifting somebody a swatch and committing to, you know, knitting that jumper together, or, you know, if it's sewing, sort of sewing that piece together where you get their measurements right, you get everything from them, so that you know that the piece is going to be a success. I think sometimes that's a better outcome than knitting something or sewing something as a surprise and then having them not like it and you spent all of that time. So yeah, commitment to craft, especially if you're running out of time before Christmas Day. I think committing to craft something for someone. Staying on the non-physical gift train, I think organising some kind of craft-a-noon or some kind of event that's sort of like craft oriented is a really lovely option. A lot of people do Friendsgiving or Friendsmas. You could plan to do a sort of craft-a-noon with your friends and arrange, you know, like buy all of the supplies. You could do like a bauble making workshop or like a DIY garland. You know, there's tons of these things on TikTok at the moment where, you know, you do the little like ribbon paper chains. Is that what they're called? Yeah, the like velvet ribbon paper chains or the bow ribbon garlands. All of those are very easy and very fun and like accessible for all skill levels. And you could sort of purchase all of the supplies and then the, you know, like some snacks and some drinks to go alongside it, and that could be your gift to your group of friends. It's a really good way to spend time with people. You could also organize it after Christmas. I think like this time of year is really hard to sort of nail people down, but it could still just be something that you do around the festive season, and it doesn't have to be festive related either. It could just be like a really cute the ones I really like are like polymer clay magnet making. I think like that's really fun and really easy to set up, and it's like not very messy. But yeah, some kind of craft-a-noon that you organize, I think is a very lovely way to spend time with people and provide them with something tangible. And again, people may pay money for these things. they pay money to go to like studios and do this kind of thing. So just do it yourself. I've actually gifted this in the past, a ticket to go to a pottery studio or do a workshop in spinning or weaving or whatever sort of like niche craft that is available near you. You could buy 2 tickets and go with the person, or just, you know, gift it for themselves. You know, if you know a mum or somebody that doesn't get a lot of creative time, you could also offer to babysit or dog sit whilst they go and take the class that you gifted them. Yeah, I think this is a winner. Who doesn't want to learn a cool new skill and fail upwards at something? Especially like if you take it in the new year, I think like that's a time where people are sort of experimenting and trying new things. So it definitely feels, you know, transformational. And if you're a very skilled person, you could just teach the workshop yourself. You can give somebody a voucher to learn how to knit from you. I know a lot of people that have asked me to learn, you know, they're like, oh, I've always wanted to learn how to, you know, when people go into the yarn shop and they like have messed up their project and they don't know where to sort of go, and then the people in the yarn shop help them fix it. You can be that person if you're a knitter. Or you can teach somebody how to sew, you can teach somebody to, you know, to do whatever you know how to do. And again, it's one of those things that people pay really, really good money to people to teach them how to do these things. And if you have that skill and you have a friend that wants to do it, I think that's a really lovely thing to be able to offer them. And then yeah, on experiences train, I think, you know, gifting somebody a ticket to a show or an exhibition that you both wanted to see, particularly like I'm thinking of like the V&A and like all of like the textiles exhibitions. Yeah, if you wanted to gift somebody something like that and then accompany it with like a little cute knitted pouch or envelope, or you know, you can do really cute things with felt. It's a lovely way to not spend too much time and energy, but also get a really beautiful gift out of it. Back into the realm of physical objects, if you want to gift something for somebody that you know that they'll use, I think it's a nice idea to think about the things that they already own and then think of practical accessories that sort of go with them, or think about things that they do often, whatever hobbies they have, whatever lifestyle they have, and then sort of think about, again, accessories and things that sort of go with that lifestyle and could be really useful to them whilst also being attractive, sexy, cool, handmade, all of the adjectives. To be known is to be loved. To be loved is to be known. Just observing people and observing the things that they like and really listening and knowing them and issues that they have in their life that you can fix for them. Not to 2 years running plug my own pattern, but if somebody uses a water bottle that they take to work or school or whatever often, then a holder for that water bottle is really nice. You can knit one. I think you can also sew one. I have this pattern that is knitted, but I actually think if you were a crocheter, this would probably be way more successful. And it's my most worn knit of 2025. I use it all the time. I don't think I realized how much I needed something to like sling my water bottle on. And I'm just so thirsty all of the time. What a thing to admit. It's just really nice to be able to carry my water bottle with me, going through the airport, that kind of thing. And yeah, in a similar vein, like a pouch with a little keychain for your passport or your key card or things that you sort of need in the office. Pouches that are specific for the thing that your person does. If they're a coffee enthusiast, you can make little pouches or some kind of like set thing for their coffee tools. If they're a cocktail enthusiast, you can do a little travel kit for their cocktail accessories. If they're an artist, like a little pouch organizer thing. Yeah, if you're even a beginner sewer, I think this is a very accessible thing to make and can be really fun, can be done in an evening. If you know somebody that's a hairstylist or a makeup artist or even a tradesman, you can make them a little like belt bag. If you know somebody that has dogs and goes on walks all the time, you can do like a little poo bag holder. I have this little carabiner with my dog's collapsible water bowl on it, and you could sort of add like a little, you could sort of buy one of those, get the carabiner, and then add a couple of like hooks and accessories on there that will help them on their dog walks. I've seen people make like leads and stuff like that, but actually I don't know if that's safe. I would probably buy a lead from a company, if I'm being very honest. But if you have dogs that don't pull like sled dogs, then maybe that's a good option. And if you have a friend that's always wearing earphones, I think like an earphone sort of decorative cover or some kind of like accessory for that is really, really cute. It's really easily sewn. Just like adding ruffles to things, adding ruffles to bags, like crossbody bags. If you know somebody that goes to the market all the time, or is always using their own tote bags, I think like a really cute version of a tote bag is a really lovely gift. And yeah, those little, I think I said this last year, but those little like crochet AirPod cover things I think are adorable. If you know somebody that goes to the gym all the time, or that does yoga or does some kind of sport, you could do like a gym bag, or you could do a yoga mat holder strap type thing. And for your friend that always loses their keys, I think some kind of like keychain, bag charm. Everyone knows of the Labubu, but I really like the like weird sewn Labubu adjacent bag charms. I think this artist is really, really cool. And yeah, I think making like a weird little voodoo doll for somebody's bag is just the type of thing that I would love to receive. Maybe that's not everybody, but I love weird, creepy stuff to attach to my various belongings. I also really like these like animal shaped bags. I've seen a lot of people that have made either commercial patterns or vintage patterns of like animal shaped bags recently. Thinking of Buried Diamond did a vintage pattern with like a dog bag thing, and also Corinne has made this pattern that's like shaped like a duck. I think an animal shaped bag just adds some whimsy to people's lives that I feel like everyone needs. And I think this is the kind of project that is really it's fun. Like it's something that like you can get your teeth stuck into it, and it's like definitely achievable like over a weekend. You can definitely use like small scraps of fabric that you have, so you don't have to go to the fabric store and like get a whole dedicated array of fabrics. And yeah, I think it's the type of thing that's like a challenge. It's going to hopefully fill your cup and maybe frustrate you a little bit at the same time as like being able to gift something pretty cool to your friends. I think like this would be my ideal weekend, is making some weird animal shaped bag. The only thing I'm thinking is that like I feel like straps and things like that are hard to, and like clips and all of those accessories are hard to get your hands on in person, so you may be running out of time on this one. I think the devil that is Amazon may be able to deliver, but yeah, I think that like webbing and bag stuff generally I find really hard to find in person. Yeah, there's been a lot of like designer fashion inspired versions of these bags as well. I'm thinking of like, obviously it's me, the Simone Rocha dog bags. Yeah, are so cool. So yeah, make your own version of those. If you're wanting to knit something, I think focusing on new patterns with new skills, or again, things that are gonna be kind of exciting and really like rewarding to knit rather than a very mindless Sophie scarf, is going to be the way to sort of not burn yourself out creatively. Two patterns that come to mind by the same designer: the Baboonia shawl. I've just knit one of these. I was one of the testers for this pattern. The thing about this was that it was so fun to knit. It's a lace scarf with a pretty simple repeat. Maybe it was not that simple. It's like an 8 row repeat. So it's really fun, really engaging. If you've never done lace before, I think it's really, really approachable. I mean, like all lace is approachable. It's just kind of like knits and yarn overs and knit two togethers and things, right? But it's memorizable. That's what I'm trying to say, is that once you've done enough of these repeats, you will have memorized. Well, maybe not guaranteed. Anyway, it was so fun to knit. I mean, especially because you start with like the little corner and it's like really quick. I have to say, once you get to like the last two repeats here that are really long, it does get a little bit boring by that point. But It was a really quick project. It's on 5mm needles. It's knit, I think it's meant for like a sort of Aran weight chunky mohair, but I did 3 strands of a mohair, so it's also the type of thing that you probably have in stash. I didn't even use the same colored mohair. I used 3 sort of like different colored mohairs, a white, a beige, and like a minty green. It doesn't have to be a mohair as well if you want to gift it to somebody that doesn't tolerate that kind of wool. I think this would be actually really beautiful in like a summer version, in sort of a much thinner yarn. I'm thinking like a sort of like fingering weight cotton or something like that, or like a fingering weight wool would be really nice as like a little, you know, like knitted accessory. But if you're in a colder climate, this feels a bit more winter appropriate in this thicker, woollier yarn. If you want something really bougie, you could also do like a cashmere in like, you know, the brush light, or some kind of like cashmere lace would be really, really beautiful. Anyway, this is really fun and engaging, and I feel like a good thing to knit last minute because it will feel like a treat, but it's also a really nice thing to gift. And the good thing about scarves, you don't need to, there's no sizing, it's just kind of, it's freeform. So I haven't even blocked this, like, it's just whatever. So I've worn it like this primarily, as like a little like sailor kind of camp counselor moment. But I know the way that it's meant to be worn is more of a hood type situation, which is so grandma chic and I love it. Rat and Sewists also does the combine harvester kind of thing, combine hood. I posted about this before, hat, snood, convertible combination. I think this is genius. I think this is so cool. If you know somebody that's like either a bit like sporty, a bit, you know, hike-y, or is like more into sort of like Y2K fashion, that kind of thing, I think this is a really, really cool option. And you could do it in like a sort of sporty merino, so it could really work for hiking or outdoor sports, that kind of thing. So if you're an outdoor person, I think this is a really good option. Everyone and their mother has this on their Christmas like gift guide list, but the Blomstra hat is a classic, and I feel like would be really fun color work to do. Also means that you don't need to have like a full quantity of something to make the hat because it's 2 colors. And yeah, I just think if you're craving something that you can really sort of, you don't want to do something really boring and performative and you kind of want to experiment with a new skill. Anything with a chart, I feel like it's just really fun. Definitely, I talk about this a lot in last year's video, but I think taking a piece of thrifted or like new clothing items and then like DIYing them, upcycling them, yeah, is a really fun and usually quite quick way of gifting something that's meaningful, that's crafted without, you know, knitting a whole sweater. My main thing this year is just put a button on it. Buttons. Just put loads of buttons on it. Take a tank top, put buttons on it. Take a cardigan, like the Button Me Up cardigan, or like a store-bought cardigan, put buttons on it. Just put buttons on everything. If you're a crafter, you probably have a load of really random buttons, like some crazy big button tin with all of your buttons in it. Just root around, do something with buttons. The only thing I will say is that sewing on buttons is like the bane of my existence. But it looks so good. How can you say no? You can put buttons on a hat, you can put buttons on a tie, you can put buttons literally on anything, and it's so cool. I just want to put buttons on literally everything that I own. If you're not embellishing with buttons, you could embellish with basically anything. This year I'm really into very like over the top personalized things. I'm thinking blazers with thrifted stuff just sewn on it. I'm thinking, you know, like lots of pins, lots of different Just embellishments, like weird stuff that you add to stuff. I really like the idea of putting grommets on everything, or little studs. You can sew little patches on. You can do like a blanket stitch over just like a regular shirt, or like, you know, I've shared in the past that I did it over one of my wool coats, is that I did a blanket stitch embellishment around all of the sort of trims of that. Yeah, it's a very easy way to sort of add personalization to something that you've bought or maybe thrifted. And if you have kids in your life that you're gifting for, making sort of classic games or like classic like board games in either painted versions or I've wanted to make this for the longest time. This quilted snakes and ladders quilt. I think it's a quilt. I think it's like a duvet. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. It would probably take a bit more time. Maybe this is something that you commit to craft. But yeah, it just looks so fun. You could do it with applique, you could do it with just like traditional quilting. It doesn't have to be snakes and ladders. It could also be like a big checkers game. I've seen those ones where you kind of like Velcro on the pieces and you can like play like a sort of big oversized game. I think quilts take a long time, but maybe something that's just like a grid and maybe in a sort of, what's that called? Like a lap blanket kind of format. Wouldn't take a ton of time. I just think it's a really lovely like tactile thing. If you have a lot of linen in your stash, cotton in your stash, like nice sort of like heirloom fabrics, I think it's a really nice thing that will stay in the family for a lot of time. Last year I made a quilted pillowcase pretty much like in a day. Maybe you're a beginner sewer, you're wanting to try quilting, I think, or you know, you're really experienced at it. I think this is just a really bite-sized bit of sewing that can be as complicated or as simple as you want to make it. And again, it's just, you know, you just use bits of fabric that you have in your stash. Just quilting in general, it doesn't have to be like a whole quilt. It could just be like a little like pot holder, like you know, like a protector for your table. When you put hot things down, I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, like you could get that like heat resistant fabric that people use in oven gloves, and sandwich that in between some really cute quilting, really lovely examples out there. I think this is good for kids, good for adults, and yeah, I just love, like, quilting is such an heirloom skill. If you want to encourage crafting or art in any small people that you know, I think art subscriptions are really nice. If you live in the UK, I've done the Lola, lots of lovely art. Yeah, the Lola subscription, which is quite pricey, but I think it's really, really worth it. They got so many really nice quality craft supplies, and it kind of worked for both boys in the family. Again, you can also offer to do a crafting session with your nieces, nephews, small people, and that also serves as like free babysitting for the parents, so like it's kind of like a double whammy kind of gift. Okay, that's everything that I thought of that I thought would be something that you could gift that wouldn't take too much of your energy around this time of year. You could just say like, why don't you just buy something? And yes, obviously you can do that. It's kind of twofold. I think if you're somebody that makes things, I think people kind of tend to expect like a handmade gift when you are gifting. Not that you have to live up to everybody's expectations, but I often find as well that I don't like giving purchase gifts as much as I like giving handmade gifts now. I feel like, I don't know, if I'm out shopping, I'm like, oh, I could make this and I could make it nicer and I could spend less money. It's kind of like the crafter's curse, right? That you maybe don't want to be making things all of the time for other people, but also you're like, I see no alternative. This is better than anything else. You can just go out and buy something if you don't have the time or the energy, but I think these are some achievable ways that you can still make something at this time of year if you just haven't been feeling the Christmas vibes. Maybe next year I will be less of a Grinch. Listen, 2025 has been a year. Let's just end it in the most chill way that we can. Thank you so much for watching. It's good to be back. It's good to have you back. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Okay, bye. Bye. I can't do the hand camera thing because it's too far away now. Can you believe that this is the Christmassiest jumper that I own? And it's not even hand knit. we need to do something about that. I know somebody's going to ask me, this is one of the Ralph Lauren teddy bear sweaters that I found at TK Maxx, and it came up at a really good price. I have said in the past that I wanted to DIY some of these, and I stand by that. I think actually in my last Christmas video, or in one of those videos, I wanted to DIY a version of this jumper, but it came up for like less than €100, so I ended up buying it. I have to say the quality is horrendous. There's a split at one of the, I think I've cuffed it now, but there's a split. It like immediately as I started wearing it, one of the cuffs just started to come apart, which I can fix, but like these are like 400 new. And it's 90% wool, 10% cashmere, I think, and it's pilled so horrendously. Again, from the very first wear. I just depilled it for this video, but I just really am hoping it's one of those things that's just gonna pill once and it's not gonna like keep pilling. But yeah, if I can de-influence you on the Ralph Lauren teddy bear sweaters, then just make your own. You can do this. A lot of this is duplicate stitch, so really fine gauge jumper. You could thrift one instead of making one, and then just duplicate stitch a teddy bear on it. You don't need the Ralph Lauren one. Of course I put the washing machine on just as I'm about to film. That's really clever of me. We will see in post how bad this looks, and if I'm in focus, who knows.